Hey YouTube, Turtleags here, bringing you another AFK journey video. Today we will be talking about Snow Stomper. As you can see here, we are on Hell mode right now, but I think we have an opportunity to perhaps enter Endless mode. However, I will still focus on the Hell mode team for Snow Stomper, given that it's entirely possible that eventually with enough investment, the optimal team will be different from the team that I will be bringing today. As per usual, I'm going to go over Snow Stomper's kit, followed by a showcase of what I believe to be the best team to run against Snow Stomper. And then, of course, we'll explore some free-to-play options. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, as you can see here, Snow Stomper, I think the main part of his kit is his ability to encase one of your allies in a snowman. And until you crack your ally out of the snowman, the ally who is encased in the snowman will take continuous damage until either the snowman is defeated or until your ally's HP slowly whittles down to 0, which is what happens when they are encased in the snowman. And so for this reason, you do want to have a good balance between support and offense. I don't think it's a good idea to just have one DPS, just because you never know if that DPS will be encased in snow or not. And if so, you do need at least one other damage dealer who is capable of taking down the snowman quickly, preferably 2 others at least. So, in addition, Snow Stomper does have the ability to silence your units, particularly Smokey, which is why Smokey doesn't perform as well against the Snow Stomper as he does in some other bosses. And on top of that, Snow Stomper is one of those units who just basically attritions your allies until they're defeated, because he will do like a snowball, say like attacking the healthiest enemy, knocking them down for 1 second, or dealing multi-target damage, or dealing true damage and inflicting bleed on your units, and and then the silence and the blizzard for 20 seconds at the 10, 40, and 7-second mark. Your allies are constantly having their HP slowly whittled away. So units that are capable of popping the snowman quick and who are able to survive over the course of this fight will be very valuable. I do believe Rainier is especially important in this fight, because you do want to make sure that you're doing a lot of damage on the Snow Stomper. You have some defensive capabilities with an EX10 Rainier, and there's some really cool combinations that people have discovered which allow you to do massive damage against the Snow Stomper that wouldn't be possible against any other Dream Realm boss. The fact that Snow Stomper whittles away your team in the form of attrition makes it so that you can afford to go more hyper offensive in your team build than you normally could. And so of all the teams that I've play tested, the team that I believe performs the best is actually Rainier, Odie, Merrily, Cassidy, and Floorbell. Now, I do notice that this team has very specific requirements, but actually Merrily is a flex slot, because you could theoretically replace Merrily with, say, like a Kruger to improve Floorbell's damage, or if you don't have a Cassidy, you can replace Cassidy with a Kruger for the physical defense shred to help Merrily and Floorbell's damage output more. And Cassidy and Floorbell have really amazing synergy, because as you can see here, Floorbell is currently blessing Odie. That's what the blue ring around him means. But Cassidy, with his Mythic Plus ability, basically when she casts her ultimate, anyone caught within the tidal wave of her ultimate is able to receive the blessing of tidal strength. And this blessing of tidal strength makes it so that whenever that ally does normal attacks, the enemy will receive additional 60% magic damage follow-up attack by Cassidy. And the thing is that with Floorbell, what's really cool about Floorbell is that she is able to summon up to 3 summons at any given time. And when all of them are alive, and this is definitely doable when you have her Supreme Plus, being able to apply shields to all your summons when they first appear on the map. This makes it so that whenever your Cassidy ultimates, you're blessing not just the allies but also the summons. So Cassidy ends up doing so much extra damage, rivaling that of even Merrily. So let's go ahead and do the showcase. We're going to run the Crescent spell because the Magic Defense Shred will really help with both Odie and Cassidy's damage output. So let's go ahead and give this a try. So I'm going to highlight a couple things here. Sorry, I have too many things on my desktop. Okay, so he does silence your units. This is why Smokey is not quite as optimal as we would like. We're constantly applying our Magic Defense Shred with the Crescent spell. The Tidal Wave did bless all our allies there, and will bless even more allies, now that we have more summons out. Okay, Cassidy's going to do the Tidal Wave again. Any moment now. Oh, we're silenced, that's why. Okay, so the Tidal Wave will now bless all the summons. Yeah. So see, even that summon has the blue aura around them. So every time they're dealing damage to the Snow Stomper, they are also causing Cassidy to do follow-up attacks. Okay. So got a new record there. We're actually almost there to 100%ing the Snow Stomper. Now, I haven't used any of my AFK instant attempts yet, but there is a possibility that I might unlock endless mode by the end of today. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm trying to AFK push a bit more before I use the instant refreshes, but that is essentially what that is. Oh, and sorry, let me just highlight something here. So this is one of my former runs, and as you can see, my EX10 Cassidy did more damage than my EX20 Merrily. And that's because when she blesses Floribel's 3 other units, she ends up blessing 7 allies in total instead of just 4. And so this in combination with Cassidy being EX10 is the reason why Cassidy ends up doing so much damage. At around 95%, Odie executes the boss, right? Yes, that is correct, Noel. So I'm actually very close to defeating the Hell mode for Snow Stomper. Okay, so now that we've gone over that, we can go over a couple alternatives. So I do want to note an interesting interaction, which is where instead of Merrily, you run Brian. The thing about Brian is that his bird also counts as a summon, and so for this reason, when Cassidy does the Blessing of Tidal Strength with her ultimate, she ends up blessing Brian and his bird. So you have yet another unit also causing Cassidy to do follow-up attack damage. So I remember in a prior showcase, my Brian run did almost as much damage as my Merrily run, which was interesting because my Merrily at that time was EX15 and my Brian at that time was EX5. So I just wanted to point that out there. I'm not going to use up a run for that, but just wanted to point that out. Now, some people do not have Cassidy and some people also don't have Floribel. So assuming that you don't have Floribel, you can swap Floribel for a Kruger, and Kruger will make it so that Merrily has that 40% physical defense shred. If you don't have a Cassidy, you can consider swapping Cassidy out for Corrin. I think Corrin would be a very good option as well. And that is actually the team that I'm going to showcase right now, because I think for a lot of people who had built Merrily and Corrin prior to the new season, will likely have these units. So we'll go ahead and give it a try. So this is another variation if you didn't pick up Florbell and you don't have Cassidy invested yet. After I go over this option, I'll probably swap Rainier out for a true free-to-play option. But I do recommend that even if you don't have Rainier Mythic Plus now, or if you're deciding, which Hypogene or Celestial to get, I highly recommend that Rainier you get him Mythic Plus before even touching any of other Hypogene or Celestials. Should have gone Quick Blade. Yes, I should have gone Quick Blade. You're right. And both my Merrily and Odie are EX20. This is actually doing pretty well. Because what did we reach? Like 92%? Damage is slowing down a bit. Okay, so 80%. Still not bad. Still not bad. The Cassidy Florbell comp is pretty powerful. But yeah, Merrily did quite a bit of damage there. Okay, and then now let's go ahead and show a free-to-play team. So kind of like what Fur Murray was mentioning, you can run Crescent spell if you want Odie to do more damage, or you can run the Quick Blade spell if you want Merrily to do more damage and Corrin to do more damage. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a free-to-play option where instead of Rainier you go either Temesia or Thorin. Now the nice thing about Thorin is that his season skill does have a built-in partial Rainier, because like right now, for instance, my Thorin makes it so that the Dream Realm boss takes an increase 17% damage, and that's pretty insane. And I know it says for 3 seconds after dealing damage to that target with normal attacks, but so long as your Thorin is alive, he's going to be constantly doing normal attacks, and so he's constantly going to be reapplying the increased 17% damage taken by the boss. So for the purposes of this fight, I'm actually going to have Thorin be the one to be the replacement for Rainier, because he is kind of a replacement, and this is where a Quick Blade spell will make a ton of sense, because at this point you have 4 attackers who are physical attackers. But I still think Odie is a good character unit to keep, just because he does so much damage. And also, he's one of the few units that even when he's silenced, his damage does not really drop off, because the majority of his damage comes from his poison stack application and his normal attacks. So let's go ahead and do this fight. And that's the other thing too. Whenever you're in doubt as to what DPS is to bring against the Snow Stomper, just remember that Snow Stomper does silence your units periodically, which can drastically... Ooh. It's actually taking a lot long... Oh. Interesting. Thorin might not be the play there. Our Merrily actually died. And we are not popping the snowman as quick. We're popping it much slower than I anticipated. So why is that? My guess would be because we just don't have... Is it the spell, or is it just the unit selection? Hey Ghoul, good morning, good morning. You're on YouTube. We're playtesting a free-to-play comp. Wow, this team fell apart. But we still achieved 50%. But a lot of that had to do... Okay, so clearly this is not the team. I cannot recommend this team. So if that's the case... Wow, Rainier bit made a huge difference. So then... Shakir and Temesia are options. Okay, so let's try Temesia. I think more people will have Temesia built because of the Necro Dragon, so I think that would be the more realistic play. Plus, Temesia also has the physical defense shred, which helps. I'm still kind of amazed that merely died that quick. Okay, so let's give it a try. I mean, Thorn is not exactly the... Most of his damage, Thorn's damage, is backloaded with the ult. So it does make sense that we popped the snowman extra slow. Let's see if this run makes any difference. Still kind of slow. Yeah, our merely died again. You might want to try out with the healing artifact. Yeah, I might have to do that. Okay, we need to come up with a team where Merrily doesn't die outright like that. That's actually pretty bad. I don't know how much light heal spell will help. You know, I've noticed that with higher modes, it's harder and harder for free-to-play teams to be viable. Because healing artifact lets you merely live through the first snowman, maybe? Okay, we'll try it. So 50% again. Shakir might be better now that I think about it. Because Shakir, he attacks pretty fast. And some people build Shakir over Brutus. So they probably have Shakir built. Let's see. Oh, yeah, much better. Shakir's the play. Shakir's the play. And the healing artifact is the play. Good point. The light heal spell. Good call, good call. Yeah, this is way faster. And the cool thing about Shakir... Ooh, Shakir died though. Is that once he gets into wolf mode, he will stay in wolf mode. So he's one of those units where the silence does not affect him as much as other DPSs. Okay, so that was better. We achieved 59.26%. Okay, so I think that pretty much wraps it up for the free-to-play coverage. Oh, sorry, I forgot to show the stats, but yeah, just kind of in summary here, the optimal play would be this one right here, where you have Rainier, so Cassidy blessing Odie, you have Rainier targeting Odie, you have Florbell for the 4 units being blessed instead of 1 from Cassidy, and then finally we have who was the last unit? We have Merrily. And Merrily is probably the most flex of slots out of all of these. If you have a built Brine for whatever reason, then you can run Brine instead of Merrily. If you don't have Cassidy, then you can probably go Kruger, and that will work really well. That pretty much wraps it up for this video. If you have any questions or any suggestions, you can leave it in the comment section below. Excuse me, and I will see you in the next video.